normal. Anyone, or you may say, can sit, anyone can leave, anyone can ask anything whatsoever. So ये चीज़ है. Because work is also important. ये जो काम करना है ये भी बहुत ज़रूरी है. There is one particular fazila which a working person have, or how Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam honored or dealt with the person who is working, like a laborer or any person who does the work with that it's quite unique. It's not found that he alayhi salatu wasalam did this with many people. Maybe the scholars will know, but I'm not aware as such. Sayyidina Jabir radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he says that that I did musafaha. Musafaha means actually to shook hands with the Prophet ﷺ. Like there might be any occasion he came from somewhere, or just after Salah, or whatever the occasion was. And Rasulullah ﷺ, the Messenger of Allah, Sayyid al-Wajud sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, he noticed that his hand was actually not soft or gentle, but rather there were marks on it, and it could be seen the marks, and also the skin also had turned its color as well. So it seemed was somehow harsh and hard skin. So he alayhi salatu wasalam, because the Prophet alayhi salam's hands were very, very soft, strong but soft. So he asked him that, what is it? He said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, I repair things like shoes, or make shoes and things, and this I do for my children and my wife actually to support, and this is because of that, because I use my hand all the time. The Prophet ﷺ held his hand and he kissed his hand. Imagine this type of the prophetic honor is not found very much. There have been occasions where people kiss the hands of the Prophet ﷺ, but this is one or very few of unique, you may say, occasions where he ﷺ kissed his hand, and he said that this hand, he's made a fire, the nar, the azab, the hellfire have been made haram, meaning actually this type of hand will not enter hellfire. So fire will not touch. This is like an expression which meaning that person, obviously if his hand is not being touched, this means he will be saved as well. So he said this is loved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And here Islam mentioned Al-Qasibu Habibullah, a person who earns, who works his hand and puts effort, work, business, whatever he is doing. Al-Qasib, meaning working with hand. Habibullah is beloved of Allah. This is actually the title of Rasulullah himself, because he is Habibul Azam, the greatest, the most beloved to Allah. But on a lesser degree, he gave this title to not actually anyone else, but actually to a person who earns. So for that sake, inshallah, anyone who wants to do, they are welcome, and who wants to sit as well, when they are welcome, and they want to ask anything, they are welcome as well. General type thing mentioned.
Assalamu alaikum, Hasab.
Walaikum salam.
Can you tell us the story of Mansoor Hallad? I was listening to the audio files and I just wanted to hear the story again.
His story is that his words could not be understood by normal people. He spoke with such a level that normal people, even scholars, could not understand. That is his story. So when people can't understand, so how will they treat you? They will mistreat you. So he was mistreated as well. So that's why the lesson for you, instead of from his story, forget his story. The lesson for story is speak to people in such a way, with such words, in such a way that they find it easy to understand. Do not speak in, actually, you may say, such ambiguous words and starting something from the middle of, let's say the story has beginning, middle, and end, and then you mention something from middle, or you are speaking, such a way that people, or someone cannot understand. Half they can hear you, half they can't hear you. Some words they can hear. Every word is pronounced, trying to pronounce, and said in such a way that it's easy to understand. And if there is something such difficult, either make it easy and interpret, or do not speak. So he was somewhat overwhelmed by certain states, like a person sometimes becomes intoxicated, and he spoke at a level which people could not understand, scholars could not understand very much. So this is the case. So I mentioned the story and the lesson for me and you in him. And also another lesson from his story is that he was the student of Sayyidina Junaid from Baghdad, Junaid al-Baghdadi rahimahullah ta'ala. He was his sheikh and teacher, and he left his teacher before the teacher actually gave him ijaza to actually that you can go and speak to people, etc. And he just actually had to go. And so if he had stayed with him, he would have even done his more tarbiyah. So this is another lesson, that don't become self-opinionated and self-directive type person with self-direction and self-opinionated, because this leads to destruction. A person should be under the tutelage of and guidance of Allah Azza wa Jal, Quran, Sunnah, and also the Mashayikh, and then a person stays safe. All these people who made mess of their lives, I'm not saying about him, but meaning others, generally, normally, they've been doing something themselves unique, something, oh, I'm trying this drug, it's okay, I know how to take it. Oh, I'll try this, I have this friend, it's okay, he's a gangster, but he's good with me, I'm not going to tell. I'm going to trade, I'm not going to tell anyone. And then they lose money. I'm not going to tell the authorities, but I'm doing something. So all those people who suffer is because mostly that they are doing something which they think they understand, and leaving the, you may say, common sense. One thing about common sense is it's not very common. Meaning actually, at least if you don't want to, if you are not following anyone, follow the wise or the moderate people who are living successful lives. Not everyone, but them. Still, you get some good wisdom, some wisdom. So normally we say to people that some people who do not listen, okay, either first person who is the most lucky and most blessed is who follows Allah Azza wa Jal and the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. Because that's the same thing, because following the Prophet, Rasulullah Islam is the Rasul, is the message bearer, messenger of Allah. So following his message, following Allah Azza wa Jal, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if someone is not, don't have access, understanding, then follow the awliya of the time, any wali, or any good scholar who is actually practicing his knowledge as well, to more extent. They can't be infallible or masoom, but they are practice at least most of the things, the main, you may say, injunctions of the Sharia. Or a sheikh, if a person have a teacher, then actually obviously they can follow that. But teacher is for spiritual, meaning connecting you with Allah, His messenger, not for worldly matters. But sometimes advice one can take. So follow them. If not, if person is not following, then follow your parents, if they are people of wisdom and some understanding, and they're not abusers or anything. Follow the parents. They give you good advice, whatever. And if you fall below that, then follow your brothers and sisters, equal friends, siblings, friends, good siblings. If not, if the person has gone, then circumstances, the consequences will teach them very, very hard way, and they fail. So a person should stick somewhere, but you should be on the top, following Allah Azza wa Jal and Rasulullah, because they know more, and Allah Azza wa Jal has created you, and Allah Azza wa Jal loves the believers and helps them if they ask for help. So inshallah, this is the thing. This is very, very dangerous attitude. Okay, I know what I'm doing. I don't need anyone. And yeah, I know what I'm doing. Don't tell me something. मुझे सब कुछ पता है. अक्ल कुल उर्दू में कहते हैं, अक्ल कुल. That I know. मुझे सब कुछ पता है. या पंजाबी मनु सारा पता है. मनु ना दसो या वो कहते हैं मिकी सब कुछ पता है. मिकी ना बाओ. In different languages, actually, they have different ways to say, but it's same thing. Actually, very dangerous. Person always should be learning. Astaghfirullah. और अहमद रज़ा, ये आपकी जो क्लास कुछ सीख रहे हैं साथी वगैरह लोग उसमें?